The sky over Vera Colony had never looked so strange. The twin suns shone faintly through the swirling clouds of red and gold, casting long shadows over the human settlement. But it wasn't the unusual sky that drew everyone outside. A massive ship floated silently above the colony, its dark metal surface reflecting the suns like a mirror. It was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. "Is that real?" whispered Mara, a young engineer, her eyes wide as she pointed upward. "It's real," said Talon, standing beside her. He had been called from his lab to help prepare for the arrival. Unlike most colonists, he felt no fear. His heart beat steadily, though his mind raced with questions. The ship was enormous, easily 3 times the size of their largest human freighters. And at the top, a glowing symbol marked it as a warship, yet there were no signs of weapons being fired. The colony's leaders quickly gathered in the central hall. Governor Solon, a tall man with silver hair, spoke firmly. "We don't know their intentions. They could be here to conquer us. Prepare the defenses." Talon stepped forward. "Governor, perhaps we should try talking to them first. They are not firing. Maybe they are seeking peace." The governor frowned. "Peace? With a warship like that? Talon, you are too trusting. We cannot risk our people." Still, Talon's suggestion stood. Among the humans, there were whispers of fear and doubt, but Talon volunteered to greet the visitors. He was a diplomat and a scientist, trained to understand and communicate with others, even alien life. A shuttle hovered beside the colossal ship. Talon's hands were steady as he boarded, his mind repeating one simple idea: kindness can change, even the hardest hearts. The interior of the alien ship was dark and metallic but strangely clean. The walls pulsed faintly with light, almost as if the ship itself were alive. Talon walked down the long corridor, noticing how silent everything was. There were no guards, no signs of immediate threat, just a sense of disciplined strength. Finally, he entered the chamber where the alien leader waited. She was taller than any human, her skin a deep silver with faint patterns that shimmered in the light. Her armor was elegant, yet built for battle. She carried herself with a confidence that made the room feel smaller. "Human," she said in a deep voice that resonated like rolling thunder. "I am Queen Mara. Speak quickly. Why have you come?" Talon bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, I am Talon, a representative of Vera Colony. We have seen your ship and wish to welcome you. We do not wish for conflict. I come in peace." Mara studied him. Her golden eyes were sharp, measuring, almost piercing into his mind. "Peace?" she repeated, almost laughing. "Do you think I have ever known peace? Every being I meet sees me as a threat, a conqueror, or a prize. And yet, you bow and speak kindly." "Why?" Talon smiled gently. "Because fear and anger are easier for some to expect. I choose another path. We cannot change the past, but we can choose how we meet each other now. I hope you will consider that." For a moment, the ship was silent. Mara's warriors, tall and armored, stood behind her, each holding strange weapons that Talon could barely identify. Yet, none moved forward. They watched their queen carefully. Finally, Mara spoke, softer this time. "Very few humans are brave enough, or foolish enough, to act like this. You may walk freely here, Talon, but any mistake, any sudden move, and you will not leave alive." Talon nodded. "I understand. I ask only for a conversation. That is all. Over the next few hours, Talon showed Mara images and videos of the colony, its people, and their simple lives. He spoke of the humans' struggles and triumphs, their love for their planet, and their desire for friendship. He did not speak of fear or weapons. He only spoke of what he knew: curiosity, compassion, and hope. Mara listened silently. She did not interrupt. She tilted her head, examining him closely. The way he spoke without hesitation, the way he respected her despite her reputation, fascinated her. She had seen countless diplomats in her life, but none with such calm and clear eyes. When the conversation ended, Mara stood and walked to the observation window. She looked out over the colony, where humans gathered in cautious groups, their small figures almost invisible from her vantage point. You humans, you are so fragile, yet some of you are unusual. You mean kind, Talon replied. Kindness is not weakness. Sometimes it is the strongest force there is. Mara did not answer immediately. Instead, she turned back to him, her expression unreadable. Finally, she said, "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps this meeting will be interesting." Back on the colony, the news spread quickly. Humans whispered about the Queen, wondering if she would attack or leave peacefully. Some still prepared defenses, but a few looked to Talon with hope. If anyone could reach the alien Queen, it was him. As night fell over Vera, Talon stood alone on the observation deck of the colony. The twin suns had disappeared, leaving a soft glow of distant stars. He thought of the Queen, fierce and proud, yet capable of listening. He realized something important. Sometimes courage is not in fighting, but in showing respect when no one expects it. And somewhere in the shadows of her ship, Queen Mara considered him. A warrior queen, feared across galaxies, was feeling something she had never admitted before: curiosity. Could humans, so small, so fragile, truly be different? Could one human, one act of kindness, change the course of what she thought she knew? The answer, Mara knew, would come soon enough. But for now, she remained silent, and Talon returned to his quarters, ready for whatever would happen next. Outside, the colony slept uneasily, unaware that the galaxy's most feared warrior had already begun to question her own beliefs, and that a simple human might change everything. The day after Mara shared the secret of her dying world, Vera Colony was alive with cautious curiosity. Talon moved through the streets, observing people whispering about the alien queen and her warriors. Some were still afraid, others intrigued. Yet all eyes seemed to turn to him, hoping he could guide them through this unusual situation. A meeting was called in the colony's central hall. The governor, Solon, sat at the head of a long table, his fingers steepled together. Talon stood near the holographic table display. "People of Vera," the governor began, "the alien ship remains in orbit. We do not know what her next move will be. We must prepare for the worst." Talon raised a hand calmly. "Governor Solon, I understand your concerns, but Mara has shown no hostility. She came seeking assistance. Her people face a danger greater than conflict. If we act with cooperation, not fear, we may gain an ally and save her world." The room buzzed with murmurs. Some humans were skeptical. Why should we help a warrior queen? One man asked sharply. She could turn on us at any moment. Talon's eyes were steady. Because helping does not make us weak. It makes us wise. We will act carefully, but we will also act with empathy. That is our strength. Later, Talon visited Mara aboard her ship. She was waiting in the observation chamber, her golden eyes studying him as always. "Human," she said, "your people speak with fear and doubt. Yet you remain calm. I do not understand fully, but perhaps this is the way humans inspire others." Talon smiled gently. "It is not about inspiring fear or awe. It is about showing respect and offering help. That is how strong bonds are built." Mara considered this. "Very well. Then I will allow my warriors to meet humans. Carefully. They will observe and perhaps learn." The first encounter was tense. Mara's warriors walked through the colony under Talon's guidance, their movements precise and silent. Humans stepped back, unsure whether to approach or flee. But Talon encouraged friendly gestures, helping carry supplies, offering greetings, and explaining their daily routines. One warrior, taller and more imposing than the others, knelt briefly when a small child reached out. The child giggled, touching the warrior's armor. The human observers gasped, and Mara watched silently. "Intrigued, this is unusual," she muttered. "My people have never interacted like this. They respect strength, not kindness." "They are learning another kind of strength," Talon said softly. "Strength that does not require conflict." As the day progressed, Mara shared more of her people's skills. Their knowledge of space navigation, survival techniques, and advanced engineering impressed the humans. Talon guided them in understanding human technology as well. Meanwhile, a small human faction, skeptical of Mara's intentions, secretly began plotting. Led by Commander Vorn, they believed the Queen was a threat and prepared a plan to attack her ship, convinced that eliminating her would protect the colony. Talon remained unaware, focused on building trust. That evening, Mara invited Talon to a private chamber aboard her ship. "Your species, you act in ways I do not expect," she said. "Most would exploit weakness or fear. You offer guidance instead. That is rare, human. I am not sure how to respond fully." "You can start by observing," Talon suggested. "Watch how humans live, how we solve problems. Then you will see that cooperation can be stronger than any weapon." Mara nodded. "I will try, but there are always those who seek to interfere. I feel it already. Your people are not unanimous in their acceptance of me." Talon frowned slightly. "Some humans may not understand yet, but their doubts can be overcome with time and trust. We will act carefully. Nothing will happen without caution." The next day, Mara and Talon coordinated a joint effort. Humans and alien warriors worked side by side to repair energy generators damaged by a recent storm. It was slow, careful work, but each success brought mutual respect. Mara watched as humans adapted, solved problems creatively, and offered help, without hesitation. "You see," Talon said, noticing Mara's gaze, "even without fear or orders, humans act decisively. They cooperate because they choose to, not because they are forced. That is our strength." Mara's expression softened. Perhaps your people have wisdom beyond their strength. I had not considered this, but tensions were not far away." Late that night, Talon discovered a small message left by one of the colony's guards. It spoke of Commander Vorn's plan to disable Mara's ship. Talon realized immediately that their fragile trust could be shattered if this attempt succeeded. He ran to the governor explaining the danger. Solin's eyes widened in alarm. If they attack, it could start a war. Talon, you must stop this before it begins. Talon nodded. I will, but we must act carefully. Mara must not see aggression from humans. We cannot undo the trust built so far. The next morning, Talon arranged a meeting with Mara and selected human leaders. There is a threat, he said calmly, from within. Some humans doubt our alliance and may act without our permission. We must be prepared, but cautiously. Mara, your warriors will help, but without aggression unless necessary. Mara studied him, her golden eyes sharp. I understand, and I trust you, human. We will act together, not against each other. That is new for me. Together, humans and Mara's warriors set up safeguards around the colony and the alien ship. Talon coordinated communication, ensuring that everyone knew the plan. It was tense work, but slowly, a sense of unity began to form. By evening, the colony saw something remarkable. Humans and alien warriors moving together, protecting the settlement, exchanging knowledge and solving problems. Fear slowly gave way to admiration. Mara observed quietly, seeing that cooperation was not weakness, but strength. You are teaching them, and perhaps yourself, she said to Talon privately. And you are teaching them too, Talon replied. Trust can be built. Strength can be shared. Fear does not need to rule our decisions. Mara nodded, a small smile touching her lips. I begin to see that perhaps this is the way forward. Perhaps humans and my people can learn from each other. The night sky shimmered above Vera Colony, stars reflecting in the calm waters of the settlement's reservoirs. For the first time, humans and the warrior queen's people moved in cautious harmony. Talon knew that the fragile trust they had built would face many tests, but he also knew that the foundation was strong: respect, patience, and understanding. And in the quiet of space, aboard her ship, Mara considered the strange human who had challenged her assumptions. The bond with Talon was growing, and with it, the possibility of a true alliance, a union of strength, wisdom, and kindness that could survive the trials to come. The morning after the defense of the colony, a calm quiet hung over Vera. The twin suns rose gently, reflecting off the domes and the alien ship still hovering above. The humans went about their routines with cautious optimism. No one spoke openly about the sabotage attempts anymore. The fear had been replaced with a sense of respect for each other and for the warrior queen who had fought beside them. Talon walked through the central plaza, observing the human workers repairing minor damages from the previous day. He noticed the subtle changes in how they viewed Mara and her warriors. Once feared as invaders, the aliens were now seen as allies, teachers, and even friends. A small crowd of Mara's warriors had gathered with humans, exchanging techniques for machinery repair and energy management. One human showed a warrior how to calibrate a power panel, while another learned from the warrior how to stabilize a mechanical arm using precision tools. The scene was remarkable, a union of knowledge, skill, and trust forming in real time. Talon felt pride swell in his chest. Small steps had built strong bridges. He made his way to the shuttle bay where Mara awaited. She had requested a private meeting, and Talon knew this would be a meaningful conversation. "Human," Mara said as he approached, her tone softer than usual. "Yesterday was enlightening. I saw how your people acted without fear. They protected, they cooperated, they learned, and they did so willingly. That is not strength I have often witnessed." Talon bowed slightly. "Strength comes in many forms, Your Majesty. Sometimes it is not the sword or the armor, but the willingness to act with care and understanding. Courage is measured not only in battle, but in restraint and thoughtfulness." Mara's golden eyes softened as she considered his words. Perhaps there is wisdom in what you humans value. I have led warriors all my life through discipline and fear, yet yesterday I saw another path, one where trust can be stronger than power. You showed them trust as well, Talon replied. Your warriors learned from humans because you allowed it. Leadership is not only command, it is guidance, patience, and example. Mara remained silent for a moment, then said, You speak with clarity and humility, human. Few of your kind do. And yet, you do not see me only as a threat, as most do. That is rare. That is valuable. Talon smiled gently. I see you as you choose to show yourself. Not just a warrior queen, but a leader capable of decisions that can shape lives. And so I treat you with respect. For a long while they watched the humans and alien warriors working side by side. The sun reflected off the metal of the alien armor and the human tools alike. A small group of children approached, carrying small bouquets of native flowers. Mara observed quietly as the children offered them to her warriors. One warrior knelt, accepting the flowers without ceremony. Mara's gaze lingered on the scene, and a small, almost imperceptible smile crossed her face. You have patience with your people, she said softly, and they respond to it. Even the smallest among them show courage and kindness. Perhaps leadership can be learned, not only enforced. Talon nodded. We humans learn through example. Strength inspires respect, but kindness builds loyalty. You showed that yesterday. And now your people will carry that lesson forward. Mara considered this, then reached into a small compartment in her armor and produced a tiny object, a polished stone, etched with subtle symbols. She held it out to Talon. This is a token, she said. Among my people, we give this only to those we trust completely. It symbolizes respect, loyalty, and the bond of mutual understanding. I give it to you, human, because you have earned it. Talon accepted the stone with care. I am honored, Your Majesty. I will treasure it and the responsibility it represents. Mara inclined her head. Remember, human, this is not just a gift. It is a promise. A promise that I will consider your people as allies, not enemies, and that I will act with their well-being in mind. The moment was quiet, yet powerful. Talon felt the weight of the gesture, not just in trust, but in potential. The alliance between humans and Mara's people had deepened in a single act of respect. Later, Mara returned to her ship, leaving the colony buzzing with quiet admiration. Humans had witnessed the Queen's gesture from a distance, understanding that even a warrior feared across galaxies could show gratitude and trust. The event became a symbol for the colony, a reminder that courage and empathy could coexist, even in the most unlikely circumstances. Talon spent the remainder of the day reviewing plans for collaboration. Mara's warriors could teach advanced strategies for survival and efficiency, while humans could offer knowledge in engineering, diplomacy, and problem-solving. Together, they could face challenges that neither species could face alone. As night fell, Talon returned to the observation deck. The twin suns had set, leaving a soft glow of stars above. Mara's ship hovered quietly, its silhouette reflected in the colony's reservoirs. He held the polished stone in his hand, feeling a sense of unity that went beyond words. Somewhere in the quiet of space, Mara reflected on her own journey. For centuries, she had relied on strength, discipline, and fear to guide her people. Yet, in the human's actions, she had seen another kind of power, one built on understanding, patience, and respect. She realized that perhaps leadership was not only about commanding, but also about listening, learning, and connecting. Talon thought about the days ahead. There would be challenges, certainly, skeptics among humans, those who doubted Mara's intentions, and threats from other parts of the galaxy. But the foundation had been set. Respect and understanding had opened a door that fear could never unlock. As he looked out at the stars, Talon smiled quietly to himself. Today had proven that even the fiercest warrior could respond unexpectedly to acts of kindness and patience. That truth, he knew, would shape the future, both for humans and for the warrior queen. In the quiet of the observation deck, both human and queen rested in their own ways, yet their thoughts were linked by the trust and respect now forming between them. And somewhere deep in Mara's mind, a new possibility took root. A future where humans and her people could walk together as allies, facing challenges with courage, wisdom, and empathy. The morning sun rose over Vera Colony, spilling pale light across the domes and fields. Humans went about their routines, but a quiet tension lingered. Talon, however, felt an unusual calm. The Queen had stayed on her ship overnight, and though her presence was intimidating, he sensed that their conversations were beginning to plant seeds of understanding. A message arrived from Queen Mara. She requested Talon visit her aboard the ship to discuss something important. The colony's leaders hesitated, worried about sending him alone, but Talon insisted. This is the best chance to learn her purpose. Knowledge is stronger than fear. The shuttle climbed smoothly toward the massive alien ship. Talon could see its dark surface gleaming under the twin suns. As he entered the main chamber, Mara was waiting. Her posture was regal, yet she appeared less guarded than before. "Talon," she said, her voice calm, "you have shown patience and courage. Few humans possess both. I have decided to share something with you, a secret I have never told another being outside my people." Talon nodded, keeping his expression neutral. "I am ready to listen, Your Majesty." Mara's gaze drifted to the observation window, showing the colony below. "My world is dying," she said quietly. "A disease, spreading through my planet's core, threatens all life there. My warriors and I travel from planet to planet seeking aid, knowledge, or resources. Most turn away, fearing us or thinking we are invaders." Talon's heart sank, slightly. He had expected political motives or conquest, but not this. "Your people are in danger. That is why you came here?" Mara nodded. "Yes. I cannot fight this with warriors alone. My strength is useless against nature's course. Yet I cannot ask for help easily. Many will see me and my fleet as a threat first." Talon thought for a moment. Then trust must be earned carefully. But you are showing trust by sharing this with me. That is a rare step. Mara studied him, as if measuring whether his words were sincere. Perhaps your species has more value than I imagined. Your approach is unusual. You do not demand loyalty through fear. You offer it through understanding. I believe. In understanding first, Talon said. Then cooperation follows naturally. Fear may force obedience, but respect creates allies. For the first time, Mara allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps you are wise beyond your kind. They walked to a viewing platform overlooking the alien ship's lower decks. Mara pointed toward her warriors, training with coordinated precision. They are devoted to me because I lead them through strength and duty. They have never known mercy, only loyalty earned through fear of failure. Yet, when I see you, human, I wonder if there is another way to inspire loyalty. Talon watched her carefully. Mercy and understanding can be just as strong as fear, if applied wisely. You have the ability to teach that, Mara. Even your warriors could learn that. She looked at him sharply. My people. They are warriors. They follow orders without question. And yet, I feel something stirring in me that I have never felt before. A question. Could there be strength in kindness? Before Talon could respond, the ship's alarm sounded briefly, a warning of a minor energy fluctuation in one of the outer sectors. Mara's warriors reacted immediately, moving with disciplined precision. Talon stayed calm, observing. It is a minor issue, he said, raising a hand. It can be handled carefully. There is no need to panic. Mara's eyes followed him closely. She noticed how he remained composed even in potential danger. You do not react like my warriors. You do not strike first. You observe and measure. That is how humans survive, Talon said quietly. We are not the strongest, but we adapt. We learn, and we respect life whenever possible. Mara turned to him fully. You speak of respect and understanding, yet you face danger without fear. That is intriguing. Perhaps I misjudged your kind entirely. They returned to the main chamber, and Mara shared more about her people's history. Tales of honor, battles, and survival filled the room. Yet she also revealed their struggles, their reliance on strict discipline, their fear of weakness, and the isolation imposed by their reputation as warriors. Talon listened intently, asking questions that were respectful and thoughtful. He learned that Mara's people had never been defeated in war, yet they were vulnerable to forces beyond combat. Your people's greatest strength, he said, is discipline and loyalty. But your greatest danger may come from isolation and fear. You need allies who can see beyond your armor, beyond your weapons. Mara considered his words. For centuries, she had relied on fear and power. Now, she began to see another path. Perhaps alliances could be built not by intimidation, but by shared goals and mutual respect. Your kind. You speak in ways my people rarely hear, she said. I do not know if I can fully trust you, human. Yet, I feel less guarded than I have in many years. Talon smiled. Trust grows step by step. I am patient. So are we humans. We understand that strong bonds are earned, not demanded. Mara nodded slowly. I will allow my warriors to observe your colony. You may guide them in seeing human strength beyond the battlefield. If they learn even a fraction of what you teach, it may change how we all face the universe. Talon felt a surge of hope. Then we begin together. Small steps. Observation first, understanding second, and cooperation next. We can find solutions for your people's struggles, without fear, without fighting. Mara studied him for a long moment. Perhaps I underestimated humans. Or perhaps I underestimated you, Talon. You are not like the others. You see possibilities instead of threats. That is rare. That is valuable. As the sun set over Vera, Talon returned to the colony carrying more than just knowledge. He carried hope, hope that even the fiercest warrior could be reached with patience and understanding. Mara, aboard her ship, reflected quietly. She had shared her deepest secret with a human. She had revealed her vulnerability, and for the first time she felt a connection not based on fear or battle, but on something far more powerful: trust. That night, both human and queen rested, yet their thoughts were entwined. Talon dreamed of possibilities, how knowledge, kindness, and courage could change the course of worlds. Mara considered what she had learned, realizing that perhaps strength and compassion could coexist. And in the quiet of space, the first step toward an unexpected alliance had been taken, a step that would shape the future of both humans and the warrior queen. The night over Vera Colony was quiet, but Talon felt a ripple of unease. Reports had come in about unusual activity near the outer energy fields. Small sabotage attempts had already been noticed, and now it seemed that someone within the colony was determined to provoke conflict with Queen Mara and her warriors. Talon moved quickly to coordinate defenses. "We must act with caution," he told the human leaders. "Do not strike first. Observe and protect. Mara and her people are not our enemies. They are our allies." Meanwhile, Mara stood aboard her ship, watching the colony below. "They act with fear," she said to Talon. "But fear is not the same as strength. Your people, they are learning, and you, human, remain calm. That is unusual." Talon bowed slightly. "Calmness allows us to make the right choices. Strength without control leads only to chaos." The alarm sounded again, sharper this time. A small group of saboteurs had moved toward the energy core. Talon and Mara immediately coordinated a joint response. Humans armed with protective shields and non-lethal devices paired with Mara's warriors, who moved with precise efficiency. "Remember," Talon instructed, "we protect, not attack. No harm unless necessary." The saboteurs were skilled, trying to disable the core quickly. But the combined team of humans and alien warriors moved seamlessly. Mara's warriors used their advanced tools to block the saboteurs' devices, while humans guided the defense systems and secured vulnerable areas. One saboteur attempted to breach a power conduit, but a young warrior intercepted him, using a calculated strike to disable the threat without injury. The human observers gasped, realizing the aliens' abilities were formidable, yet controlled. Talon guided a small team to reinforce the energy core. He moved quickly, checking circuits and redirecting power flow. "Steady now," he muttered. "Focus on safety. That is our strength." From above, Mara watched the humans in action. She noticed their courage, teamwork, and quick thinking. "Perhaps they are stronger than I believed," she said. "Not in the way my warriors measure strength, but in their unity." As the conflict continued, Mara led a squad of her elite warriors alongside human volunteers. Together, they cornered the saboteurs without unnecessary violence. The saboteurs realized they were outmatched, trapped by combined strategy rather than brute force. Talon moved to intercept the last of the intruders. "It is over," he said calmly. "Surrender peacefully. No harm will come if you cooperate." The saboteur paused, looking at both human and alien defenders. Seeing no path to success, he raised his hands. Mara stepped forward, her presence commanding, yet her tone controlled. "You will answer for this, but you will not be destroyed. That is our way." The saboteur lowered his head, understanding the strength in restraint. Humans and Mara's warriors worked together to secure the colony, repairing damage and preventing any lasting harm. When the last of the saboteurs were detained, Mara turned to Talon. "You instructed them not to strike unless necessary, and they followed. Your species shows restraint I did not expect. That is admirable." Talon smiled. "Strength is not always in fighting. Sometimes it is in choosing the right moment to act, and in protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Mara nodded slowly, considering his words. She had led countless armies with fear and discipline. Yet, observing humans choosing cooperation over aggression, she began to see a different path to leadership, a path that combined wisdom with power, strategy with respect. The colony's people gathered, cautiously, witnessing the combined efforts. Many whispered among themselves, realizing that their fear of Mara's warriors had been misplaced. The aliens were powerful, yes, but they were not here to destroy. They were here to protect, alongside humans. Governor Solon approached Talon, his expression a mixture of relief and admiration. "You were right, Talon. Trust and cooperation, they can work, even with the unknown." Talon nodded. "We must always act with caution, but fear should not dictate our choices. Today we protected our colony and built understanding at the same time." Mara walked quietly among the humans, observing their interactions. She saw children waving at the alien warriors, workers exchanging tools, and leaders coordinating without tension. It was a strange sight for a queen accustomed to battles and strict discipline. "Human," she said softly to Talon, "today I have seen a new kind of strength. Your people are not like I expected. Perhaps there is wisdom in kindness and unity, after all." "Yes," Talon replied. "Strength is most powerful when combined with understanding." As night fell, the colony lit up with gentle lights. Humans and alien warriors shared stories of the day, learning from each other and celebrating the success of their teamwork. Mara sat quietly with Talon on the observation deck, watching the stars shimmer above. "You have taught me much, human," she said. "Not just about your people, but about leadership, restraint, and trust. I did not think a single human could change my perspective. Yet, you have." Talon smiled, feeling a quiet warmth. "We all have the power to influence others, Mara. Sometimes it is through words, sometimes through actions. Today it was both." Mara looked out over the colony, her expression thoughtful. "I will return to my people and tell them what I have seen. That there is another way. That even warriors can learn from those who seem small and fragile." Talon nodded. "And we will continue to learn from each other. This is only the beginning." In the quiet of space, the alien ship hovered protectively above the colony. Mara's warriors stood alert but calm, their respect for the humans evident. Below, the colony thrived, strengthened by the lessons of courage, cooperation, and empathy. Talon looked up at the ship, knowing that this fragile alliance had survived its first test. There would be more challenges ahead, but today had proven that humans and alien warriors could work together, not as enemies, but as partners. And as the twin suns disappeared beneath the horizon, Mara considered what lay ahead. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, yet she felt a cautious hope. Perhaps with humans like Talon and with careful choices, even a warrior queen could find allies where none were expected. For the first time in a long time, she felt a new kind of strength. One, born not from fear, battle, or conquest, but from unity, trust, and mutual respect. The next morning, the colony awoke to a strange silence. The alien ship hovered peacefully above, its massive shadow stretching across the fields. Despite the calm, many humans were uneasy. Soldiers patrolled the perimeter, while children and workers whispered about the Queen of War, who had chosen to visit rather than attack. Talon walked through the colony, passing groups of curious onlookers. He felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. Fear, because the alien queen was dangerous, beyond imagination. Hope, because her actions yesterday had shown that perhaps understanding was possible. A small meeting was arranged between Talon and Queen Mara. She had agreed to leave the safety of her ship for a short visit in a controlled area. Talon greeted her at the landing zone, bowing slightly as she descended from her shuttle. "Human," Mara said, her voice firm yet less sharp than yesterday. "You continue to surprise me. Few of your kind dare speak so openly, especially after seeing what I am capable of." Talon smiled gently. "I believe that respect and kindness are never wasted, Your Majesty. They are the language of trust, and trust is stronger than fear." Mara's golden eyes narrowed. She had heard many words in her long life, promises of loyalty and respect. Most were empty. But Talon's calm presence, his steady gaze, and the sincerity in his voice made her pause. Perhaps he was different. Perhaps humans could be different. They walked together through the central plaza, observing the humans who had gathered to see the alien queen. Mara's warriors flanked her silently, their movements precise, yet she seemed relaxed in Talon's company. "Why do you not fear us?" she asked suddenly, looking directly at him. Talon considered the question carefully. "I do not ignore danger, Your Majesty. I respect it. But I also believe that fear can blind us to possibilities. I see your strength, yes, but I also see your choices. I see that you could be a friend, if you choose to be." Mara tilted her head, intrigued. No human had ever spoken to her this way. Most had either bowed in terror or challenged her with weapons. And yet, here he was, unafraid, patient, and genuine. Over the next few hours, Talon introduced Mara to some of the colony's daily life. They visited the gardens, where humans grew food under protective domes. Children waved shyly at the queen, and she nodded, acknowledging their curiosity. She noticed how humans worked together, how they shared responsibilities, and how even in small acts, they cared for one another. "This is fragile," Mara said quietly, more to herself than to Talon. "So small, so vulnerable. Yet, you thrive." Talon nodded. "Strength is not always in size or weapons. It can be in cooperation, in courage, and in compassion." Mara considered this. She had led armies, conquered planets, and survived countless battles. Strength in her world was measured in power and fear. But humans. Humans measured strength differently. She felt something unfamiliar stirring inside her, a respect, almost admiration. Suddenly, an alarm sounded across the colony. A small reconnaissance drone, human-made, had detected an anomaly near the outer perimeter. Mara's warriors immediately went on alert, weapons raised. Talon held up a hand. "Wait, let me check first." He used his portable scanner and the tension eased slightly. The anomaly was harmless. A flock of native creatures had wandered too close to the energy fields. Mara lowered her weapons, observing Talon's careful handling of the situation. "You act with caution, but without panic," she said. "That is unusual for your species." "I prefer thinking before reacting," Talon replied. "It keeps people safe, and it helps build trust." Mara watched him, her expression softening just a little. She had led countless warriors who obeyed out of fear. But here, obedience was not demanded. Respect was given willingly. The thought was both confusing and fascinating. Later, they visited the colony's library. Talon showed her books, records, and holographic histories of human achievements. Mara listened quietly, her eyes scanning images of humans exploring distant stars, solving complex problems, and building communities in harsh environments. "These creatures are persistent," Mara murmured. "They survive despite everything. They adapt, and they endure." "Exactly," Talon said. "Persistence is part of our strength. And sometimes it shows in our willingness to be kind, even when others expect fear or aggression." Mara smiled faintly, almost reluctantly. "Perhaps I underestimated humans. Or perhaps I underestimated you, Talon." They walked outside again as the twin suns began to set, casting long golden rays over the colony. Talon turned to Mara. "Your people must be tired from the journey. Will you rest now?" She considered him carefully. "I will. But I will continue observing. Your actions today, they intrigue me. Most humans would flee at the sight of my ship or call for battle. You see possibilities instead of threats." Talon bowed slightly. "And I hope you will see friendship as a possibility as well." Mara's golden eyes held his gaze for a long moment. Then, without another word, she turned and walked back to her shuttle. Talon watched her go, feeling a quiet hope growing in his chest. The Queen was not his enemy, not yet. And maybe, just maybe, she could become something more. That night, Talon sat alone in his quarters, thinking about the day's events. He knew that trust was fragile and easily broken. The colony's leaders still doubted the Queen's intentions. Soldiers remained wary. But he also knew something important. Small gestures, patience, and genuine respect could change even the hardest hearts. On the alien ship, Mara stared out into the night sky. Her warriors had rested, but she could not sleep. She replayed every moment of her day with Talon, the calm way he spoke, the respect he showed, the courage to approach her without fear. For the first time, she felt something she had never admitted before: curiosity, and perhaps a small spark of hope. The galaxy had always told her that humans were weak, fragile, and predictable. Yet here was one human who defied every expectation, and she wondered silently, could humans, so small and fragile, truly hold the strength to earn trust and respect, even from a warrior queen? Mara did not know the answer yet, but she knew one thing. The next time she met Talon, the encounter would not be the same. Something had shifted between them, something subtle but powerful, and that subtle shift might change the future of both their worlds. Outside, the stars shone quietly, as if watching this fragile new bond form. In the darkness, the queen considered her next move, and Talon, unaware of how much influence he already held over her thoughts, drifted to sleep, dreaming of possibilities and peace. The morning over Vera Colony was calm, though a sense of anticipation filled the air. Talon walked through the plaza, observing the humans and alien warriors working side by side. The bond they had formed over the past days was evident in their cooperation, their respect, and even in their laughter. Mara's ship hovered quietly above, a reminder of the power and mystery she represented. Yet now, it also symbolized something else: trust. A warrior queen, feared across many worlds, had chosen to place faith in a human and his people, and that choice had begun to change everything. Talon approached the landing zone where Mara's shuttle had descended. She waited, her golden eyes scanning the colony below, yet soft with something almost like pride. Her warriors stood behind, her disciplined as always, yet relaxed in the presence of the humans. "Human," Mara said, her voice calm, "the time has come for me to continue my journey. My people face challenges that will test us, but I leave knowing that a foundation has been built, one of trust, understanding, and respect." Talon bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, your visit has changed the colony. Humans and your warriors have learned from each other, and we have learned from you. The alliance we begin today will shape a better future for both our species." Mara considered his words carefully. "I have learned much, human. I have seen that strength is not only measured in combat, but in patience, guidance, and cooperation. Your people, they have reminded me of what is possible when respect and courage walk together." Talon smiled gently. "And your people have shown us that discipline and focus, when guided with understanding, can accomplish great things. We are stronger together than apart." The humans gathered near the landing zone, watching as Mara prepared to depart. Children waved shyly, adults offered respectful gestures, and even some skeptics watched quietly, realizing the bond that had been formed could not be broken easily. Mara stepped forward and raised her hand in a gesture of farewell. "People of Vera, I leave you with respect and trust. You have proven yourselves capable of courage, unity, and understanding. Take these lessons forward, and remember that alliances built on respect are stronger than any weapon." The humans responded with a mixture of cheers, waves, and quiet nods. Talon stepped forward. "Thank you, Your Majesty, for trusting us. We will honor the bond we have created and continue to grow it. We will remember your lessons and carry them with us into the future." Mara's golden eyes met his. "I believe you, human, and I trust that your species will continue to act wisely. This is not the end, but a beginning. There will be challenges ahead, yet the path we have started will guide us." With that, Mara boarded her shuttle, her warriors following. The engines hummed softly, and the massive ship began to rise. Talon watched as it lifted into the sky, a symbol of strength tempered with understanding. As the ship departed, the humans felt a mixture of awe, relief, and hope. Once the alien ship disappeared into the distance, the colony slowly returned to its daily rhythm. Yet, the air had changed. There was a quiet confidence among the people, a belief in their own strength and the power of unity. Talon walked through the streets, greeting workers, children, and leaders alike. He noticed the subtle shifts, humans helping each other more willingly, sharing knowledge, and solving problems with patience rather than fear. He paused by the energy generator, remembering the sabotage attempt from days before. It had been a test, not only of the humans' courage, but of their ability to work alongside the alien warriors. Now the memory of that tense day felt distant. The lesson remained. Understanding and cooperation could overcome even the most dangerous threats. Talon turned his gaze to the horizon, imagining Mara and her fleet traveling through the stars. She would carry with her the lessons of humanity, and he knew that the bond they had formed would not be forgotten. The galaxy was vast, and the challenges were many, but for the first time, humans had an ally they had never expected. In the following days, Mara's warriors continued to assist with the colony's development. They trained humans in advanced strategies for survival, shared techniques for efficiency, and observed the humans' problem-solving methods. Each day strengthened the trust between the two species. Talon often reflected on the journey. He thought of the first meeting with Mara, her imposing presence, and the fear it had inspired. He remembered the days of careful communication, the moments of hesitation, and the gradual understanding that had grown between them, and he realized something profound. Humanity's greatest strength was not just in courage or intelligence or technology, it was in their ability to connect, to show patience, and to act with respect. Mara, aboard her ship, also reflected. She had seen countless worlds, led legions of warriors, and faced dangers beyond imagination. Yet, she had never encountered a species like humans, nor a human like Talon. Their courage had been quiet, their understanding patient, and their willingness to trust unexpected. Mara had been changed by the experience, and she knew that her people would carry the lessons forward. Weeks passed, and the colony flourished. Humans and alien warriors worked together to improve infrastructure, share knowledge, and prepare for potential threats. Talon continued to guide interactions, fostering dialogue, cooperation, and learning. Each day brought new discoveries, and each success reinforced the bond that had begun with a simple act of kindness. One evening, Talon stood on the observation deck, holding the polished stone Mara had given him. The twin suns were setting, casting golden light across the domes. He thought of the journey they had shared, the fear, the tests, the moments of understanding, and the eventual bond that had formed. He smiled quietly. Mara's departure had not ended their connection. It had strengthened it. Across the galaxy, she would carry the story of humans who had acted with courage, patience, and respect. And he knew that when the time came, their paths would cross again, stronger, wiser, and united in purpose. In the quiet of the night, the colony was peaceful. Humans worked, rested, and dreamed of possibilities. Mara traveled among the stars, her mind reflecting on lessons learned, decisions made, and alliances forged. Both human and warrior queen had discovered that strength could take many forms, and that the bonds built through understanding could shape the future in ways neither could have predicted. As Talon looked to the stars, he felt hope. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, yet humans had proven that courage, patience, and respect could overcome fear and forge unexpected friendships. Mara's fleet might be far away, but their bond was unbreakable. And in that bond, both humans and aliens had found something greater than power or victory. They had found trust, understanding, and the promise of a shared future. And so, under the twin suns and the shimmering stars, Vera Colony began a new chapter, one where humans and the warrior queen's people could face the universe together, guided by courage, empathy, and the knowledge that even the smallest acts of kindness could change worlds. The story of trust, cooperation, and respect had come full circle. And though this chapter had ended, the adventure and the lessons learned would continue for generations to come.